We're going to go over hot projects, macro outlooks, and everything in between. But as with all MVHQ productions, this is rated NFA for not financial advice. Always make your own investment decisions. Man, things are heating up. We got Bitcoin at 53,000. We got Ethereum above 3K. It's at 3.1. Man, this is madness. Jake, how are you feeling this morning, brother?
All right. I've been just like similar to you. I've been under the weather for past like week or so, past like 5 days. But I'm starting to turn the corner here. I think I'm getting a little bit better. But I mean, it's great to see some green in the market when you wake up in the morning. That's for sure. I'm not really sure. I can't tell you if someone asks, what was the reason for the pump today? I don't know if there's any specific thing outside of just the kind of the normal, bullish outlook on the market right now. Um, it's great. I think we're kind of entering a spot where there could be another little leg up here. We just broke out of a little bit of range, and hopefully we get a lot of action going. Alts, NFTs are popping off on ordinals, like we were talking about earlier with Jinzo. And we got a really exciting time coming up with blast season starting to happen. A lot of capital unlocked, portal coin unlock. I'm excited to kind of dive into all of these.
Yes, sir. Well said. Glad that you say you're feeling a little bit better. You round in the corner now. Is that what you said?
A little bit better. I'm still stuffed up, so excuse that.
Yeah. No, all good. Yeah, no sick days in crypto. Man, I had some chicken noodle this morning. It put life back into my veins. I needed that. But cool. Yeah, excited to get your thoughts on everything. You touched a little bit on macro, but and some of the talking points. It's gonna be an exciting day, exciting week. Lots of stuff happening. It seems like token week. But before we jump into that, I'm just going to do quick, just knock it out at the top here, just some MVHQ mission updates. You guys may have seen your pockets may be covered in spaghetti, but our allow list mission went live. We have 4,000 participants already. That one's going to be live for 23 more days. Really exciting stuff there. Just people, showing interest in the app and in MVHQ. So our allow list is stacked. You'll love to see it. As far as other missions that are in this week before next episode of Wake and Shake, stuff that you should go ahead and knock out before you forget, because you're not going to get another reminder. New Blast City ends in an hour. Go to New Blast City if you haven't already. And then we have 4 others that end this week. Juice Finance and Do are both going to end in 3 days. And then Hyperlock and Cyber Finance are going to end in 4 days. So go knock those out. That actually does it for MVHQ updates. Hold on, I'm getting a ping here about Blast mainnet launch
Breaking news.
29th.
Breaking
There it is,
news, Joe.
breaking news live. You heard it here first, folks. Mainnet on the 29th. So we're going to be talking about that, of course. We were already prepared to, but this just makes it more exciting now that we have a date and goal in mind. So yeah, that gets us squared away for MVHQ stuff. Don't sleep on the missions. Get those knocked out. What do you want to talk about first here, Jake? I thought maybe we could recap from last week because we did the whole VOYA stuff, and that was kind of a roller coaster and pretty exciting. I thought maybe we could recap that before getting into the main talks. But chat's kind of blasting off, man. I don't know. What do you think? You want to go into blast stuff? How do you want to do it?
Yeah. I don't know. I was gonna start with other stuff, but I feel like now that we're on the blast topic, we should just get into the blast.
Yeah, I think I'm feeling the same way, man. Give the people what they want. We got a lot of blast content throughout the week, but I know that Jake has some stuff that he wants to talk about. So, man, let's just go ahead and open our biggest present first, man. Let's jump straight into it. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, I got several projects, actually quite a decent list here of projects that I think are worth looking out for. I did a field report also, if you haven't checked it out. If you want a more like a written version of this, with links and stuff. I did a field report over the weekend on kind of notable projects on Blast that I think looks pretty interesting. And went through a good amount of them. There's my field report is from all the winners, but there's also a ton that aren't on the winner page. There's 47 winners, which was more than I was expecting. But there's also a ton that aren't on the winners page that I think are super interesting too. Namely like shitcoins and NFT projects largely weren't on the winner page. I think they mostly picked like actual businesses and like and protocols. Um, but yeah, I think in general, I guess I'll kind of start with just like a thesis around how I expect things to play out a bit. I don't think this is a hot take by any means, but I think for sure we are going to have a blast season, a meta, if you will, where that's going to be like the talking point of all of like Twitter and probably MVHQ largely as well for a little bit, just at least in the initial phase when there's a lot of excitement and euphoria going on. But I just think there's so many like bullish factors for this ecosystem to like start off super hot, just based on like how everything is structured and how things have been playing out so far. It's kind of gone according to plan, I would say. I bet Pac-Man would probably say something similar, based on like how things have turned out. But essentially, there's over $2 billion in liquidity that's locked up right now in Blast, and people are going to be able to use that liquidity finally for the first time. A lot of people locked it up months ago, so it's kind of newfound money that's worth a lot more now because ETH has gone up. That's what a large part of that was. Um, it's basically kind of like newfound liquidity for a lot of people that they're going to want to use, and they're going to be incentivized to use it on Blast because they want to retain their staking points and stuff. They want to continue to earn points. They've already come this far and they've already bridged over. So I feel like a lot of people are like, oh well, might as well just use this for Blast stuff. Um, so we already know there's gonna be a ton of money going around to be used on different things, right? So that's one thing. And then one, you need applications to use them on, right? You need things that people want to click on, right? Websites they want to go to, stuff to trade, right? Stuff to degen into. Um, and then that's basically been facilitated through all these dev rewards, right? They're giving half their airdrop to devs, which is a pretty huge amount. It's probably going to amount to at least. And they not only did that, but they did a whole competition, Big Bang competition, where they highlight the best of the projects, right? And they kind of do a lot of. It's pretty nice, honestly, for us because they kind of did a lot of DD for us, right? On like what projects are legitimate, and kind of what are ones looking out for. Those are ones. One, they did the DD for us. Two, they're gonna give them a bonus of rewards. So these projects could have more capital to utilize or to use towards members if they or towards users if they so choose. And they're also going to get more promotion, right, from Blast, and get more connections, partnerships, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot going for these projects, right? So I think these are good ones to focus on as well. And then also just the fact that Blast has this native yield, right? I think this is pretty big unlock that Pac-Man really brought up in the AMA, and I didn't really fully understand it until he brought that up. Basically, talking about how these yields themselves they'll be able to offset um, other like fees, and provide more competitive rates depending on whatever the protocol is, right? But basically, is like this is like another avenue of revenue generation for these protocols that they didn't have before, right? This native yield, so they can use this now to offset some other areas to attract users. Like they can do lower fees than other perp platforms, for instance, on other chains, or the dexes could have lower fees as well, or however you want to however you want to slice it. Like this native yield provides another revenue generation that gives these protocols, these platforms, an easier way to incentivize their users and add more benefits than what they could have added if they were on a different chain, if they're on mainnet, if they're on L2, if they're on Sol, whatever. Um, so I think all those things together, and the fact that there's gonna be so many of these protocols and apps and NFT projects and shit coins, everything like ready, like day one, because they've been messing around and testing it and all that. I think that just means there's gonna be explosive growth right from the get go, and I think it's gonna be pretty exciting time.
Hell yeah, dude. Well said. Yeah, if anybody has any blast thoughts, opinions, projects, anything we should look out for, feel free to jump in here. Appreciate you sharing your thoughts and your insights there. I agree with everything that you're saying. It's really, really on point. One thing that I want to get in the habit of with Wake and Jake is asking you where you plan to deploy capital for the week. Would it be safe to say it's going to be Blast this week, or are you just kind of using what you've already got in there? What's your situation? How are you looking to bridge in for this mainnet launch, or are you all set?
Yeah, I already have some ETH over there. I'll probably add. I would anticipate I'll probably add a little bit more. We'll see. No, I don't have like a ton in terms of like my personal bankroll, like percentage of it. So I might add a little bit more depending on if I see like an opportunity or not. Um, but that's certainly going to be like my focus come Thursday is the blast stuff. I think that, and then I'm gonna allocate some more stuff to farming Merlin Bridge, which we could talk about a little later too. I know we covered it extensively on the last show, and also in field reports, and we have um, a thread on it and stuff now too. But it'll probably be those two for now, and then we'll see what else comes knocking. But that's the plan at the moment.
Definitely, yeah. We'll get to the voice stuff here in a bit. One other thing that I want to talk about is Portal. I think it actually fits really well into this conversation as well, just because we just found out it's the same day. The TGE for Portal is the mainnet launch. Both happened on the 29th. Do you think that is a coincidence? Do you think that's clever? Yet another clever marketing move from Pac-Man and company, or any thoughts there? You think that Portal is going to impact Blast? You think? I mean, I think Blast was set to blast off anyway, but do you think this just adds a little extra rocket fuel, or what's your take there?
Yeah, I think it helps. That's when definitely kicking myself on not getting in. Congrats to a lot of MVHQ people who did get in. Um, I'm very happy for you guys, even though I'm sad I didn't do it myself. I love seeing other people win, and I love seeing more liquidity going in the market. Right, that's always it certainly helps the rest of our bags. Gives us a lot more opportunities. So I'm pumped about that. I don't think it's. I mean, I would say I do think it's. I do think it's probably a coincidence. I don't know. I don't think. I mean, they've already said a long time ago, Blaster, that it's going to be like this week that they're going to launch, right? So I don't think it was really planned around the portal thing, but it certainly helps.
I'm just saying, if I was Pac-Man and we were all set to go on the 28th, and then I heard Portal was going to be on the 29th, I'd be like, you know what? 29th sounds pretty good. That's all I'm saying.
Maybe,
Wouldn't
yeah.
wou- wouldn't put him past it. Wouldn't put it past him. But yeah, if anybody missed on Portal, surely you haven't not heard of it by now. It's all over the timeline. I mean, it was a public pre-sale. I mean, there are other ways that you could have farmed it. You could have done the engagement farming stuff on Twitter. A lot of people just muted the word Portal right off the jump. A lot of people were really upset about it. It was about the third or fourth iteration we saw in like a social farming point system. So little fatigue there from the market. I know a lot of people stiff armed it and just weren't happy to engage with it that way. But there was a second way, and it was just a public pre-sale. You just had to send ETH, and I don't think it sold out very fast. They had like multiple stages, but I think the last stage was open for pretty decent amount, so anyone could have just sent ETH in, and it's done crazy X's. I think. I mean, I've seen crazy just a range of reports. People were saying it was trading pre-market at $7. That was on a very obscure marketplace. Couldn't see a lot of data or volume to back that up. But I mean, we're seeing a
That's too
healthy
funny.
trading volume about between $2 and $3 seems more accurate. But that's a certified cook right there. But I wanted to go ahead and shout out one other public pre-sale that's been talked about in MVHQ. Just kind of highlight it, make sure it's hitting more members' ears. I've seen a lot of discussion about it, and that is DOP, Data Ownership Protocol. I'm calling that the never-ending pre-sale. Like never-ending story, never-ending pre-sale. It just keeps going. A lot of people bought into the pre-sale about a month ago, maybe a month and a half, month and some change. They bought in at 3 cents, and it's still ongoing. However, the price is 6 cents. Seen a lot of people basically just say like, look, if it's going to cook, I'll go ahead. I'm not too worried about it already doing a 2x, right? It's like if you got in at 3, you haven't really cooked yet. I mean, 2x is awesome, but nothing to blow up the timeline about. But, we all got the phone. It's sort of a cope play on Portal. If you missed the public pre-sale for that, some people are just kind of FOMOing into DLP. Not saying you should. Definitely do your own research as always, but just want to throw it out there. Yeah, again, never-ending pre-sale, and then Scotco adds here in chat. It's without a total supply. They're not really telling us what we're buying, but that does not always stop people from throwing money at things. So just want to at least give that one a shout out, just as we enter token meta. That's public pre-sale that people can get access to. Any thoughts on DOP? Okay, if not, Jake, but just want to throw it out there. Good. Cool. Yeah, not a lot to add there. Just more of just informational. Just know that it exists. Definitely do your own research stuff. They also had NFTs, I believe, that had like tokens locked inside of them. Can't find those anymore. Don't know if those are tradable or what the deal is with those, but
Yeah, you could
it's
buy
def
them. They're
okay,
there. They're on
cool.
the site. You just
Cool.
go on when you go to buy. Just quick. When you go to buy, you just click on. You either have a way of depositing funds, or right next to you do buy DOP NFTs, and it's like a deal where you buy like a zero point 0.3 NFT, and it comes with a claimable DOP inside, or a 0.15 or 1.5. There's different price points, and I don't know. I don't know if they're even going to be worth it, but maybe those NFTs will be tradable and be worth something too. I mean, there's speculation around that too. So I don't know. I didn't do the NFTs. I feel like I should have. I might still do just 0.15 to have an NFT, but we'll see. There's nothing, not too much talks about them, and they're just there, and people are buying them to have them.
Appreciate the context, Jinzo. Can I pick your brain real quick? Just because that's interesting to me. I was going to kind of dunk on the idea of buying the NFT. It seems silly to me. It seems like you're just choosing to be less liquid, because you have to sell the whole NFT as opposed to just a portion of your tokens. Curious why you think you might want to get an NFT. Like, do you think it just could do more X's or maybe
Well,
additional
no, I
utility
think
or something?
it comes to the same down to the same thing. You're gonna get the NFT, and when it's claimable for everybody else, you're just gonna have claimable DOP there. Make like on the NFT itself. So I don't know if you're gonna be able to sell that NFT with the claimable DOP on it, like as it unlocks, or if you're just stuck with it. Like that's the one thing I'm not too sure of. If the DOP is going to be stuck on the NFT, kind of like what we see maybe on Captains for Meme Land, or if they're going to be separate, where you're going to be able to claim the NFT, claim the DOP in your wallet, and then you'll be able to sell the NFT on the side, and maybe it'll be like commemorative or whatever. But yeah, I'm still toying with it. I'm not really sure how they're going to play with it. Maybe Metarova could fill in. He knows more about the project than me.
Love it. Yeah, goddamn, your brain works fast, and so just to slow mo for everyone else. Yeah, two potential routes here. One could be a way to get around the vesting. You could potentially be able to sell the NFT and not have to wait the 9 month vesting. Because people could value it probably not at the full value, but at least higher. And then the other option Jinzo just said is potentially you claim all your tokens and then either a commemorative or small value sort of husk that used to have the like the snake skin that's left behind. You can sell the NFT. Is that a good summary there, Jinzo?
Yeah, pretty good. That's the thing. I'm not sure if it's going to unlock gradually and it's all going to be stuck on the NFT, or if it's all going to unlock one shot. Like, I really don't know how DOP is going to work. Like, is a chunk going to always be stuck on the NFT and claimable over time? Kind of like what we see with captains. That's the one thing. Like, maybe they're vested differently. Maybe one of them is vested on the NFT itself, and the other one's vested in your wallet and unlocks periodically. I really have no idea. That's one thing I'd love to know too, actually.
Yeah, love it. Cool. Yeah. Okay. So we'll have to suss further, do our own research and stuff. Didn't mean to spend a ton of time on dot, but I appreciate you coming up with the context. It's just one of those things I've seen it talked about so often in chat, and a lot of our big brain members are sort of poking holes and finding glaring weird things with it, which turns me off a little bit. But then at the same time, we've seen these things time and time again where we've just been over analytical, and you just got to trust the market. When the market's green, good things happen. So this could be an opportunity. Just want to at least put it on people's radar.
Yeah, one more thing on that. Looks like there's also testnet rewards too. There's 3 days left to earn them. I just shared a tweet in voice hangout chat. Um, I'm not sure exactly how they work, but something to look into if you don't want to spend any capital on it.
Yeah, great shout. I went this route when it was first being posted at 3 cents. I didn't buy in, but I did fire up a few wallets and do their testnet farming. It's essentially they just have you claim some faucet stable coin and then encrypt it. It's basically like a token encryption service. So basically, you can send the tokens, but they can't be unlocked without a password. A little bit over my head on the technicals of why that would be dope, but it's interesting none the least. But you just claim some faucet tokens, you vault them, you lock them with cryptography, and then you unlock them, and then you invite 3 people. I went ahead and just fired up 3 burner Twitters and wallets, and went ahead and accepted my own invites, just as a quick way to get that mission done to invite people. So yeah, totally a free money route or free option here if you just want to mess around on testnet and not putting your capital on the line. So great shout, and thanks for the link. I'm gonna go ahead and move on here. Just keep things going. And again, if anybody has anything they want to jump in, always welcome. Just gonna keep reiterating that always throughout the show. I want to hear you guys' voice. So dot blast, as we sort of add these topics, feel free to jump in any insights or anything. But I wanted to take just a quick couple minutes here to talk about Voya and Merlinswap. So it was brought up last week from Jake on Wake and Jake. And then after the show, he immediately rolled his sleeves up and got us some stuff in writing. So we got a focused discussion thrown up. He gave us some really good steps and some outlines, some information from the Medium article, and just what you need to qualify for the airdrop. I went ahead and made a video too, just to try and get as many people as we could into this. So hopefully everybody got in. You needed 0.01 Bitcoin in your wallet to qualify for the airdrop. The airdrop went through and people got 90 Voya, which at the time of claim was about $100. So, not the biggest cook in the world, but not nothing. Little $100 is nice to have. But since then, Voya has just ripped. It's gone 3x. The chart looks parabolic. So now that same airdrop, the 90 Voya airdrop, is worth about $300, or just over half of what you needed in Bitcoin in order to qualify. So I would say that moves the needle into certified cook territory. And with Jake, with that being your call, I just wanted to follow up with you, see what you're thinking about Voya, the current price action, maybe the current market cap, but then also get your take on Merlin, the upcoming token from Merlinswap, and if you're farming that, and if it's something that we should be on the lookout for another certified cook, see if we can take them back to back here. So love to hear your thoughts there.
Yeah, I was pumped. I was pumped to see the Voya price action. That was honestly maybe like mildly surprising to me. Because I didn't really know like what Voya was. I guess it was. They still haven't really said like if it's used for anything or like what the point is. But it's doing well, so that's good. The price is going up. I guess that's the utility, right? Um, yeah, I didn't do as many wallets as I wanted to, but I'm super glad a lot of people in MVHQ were able to get into it. You only had to do, all you had to do is bridge over 0.01 Bitcoin, which is like $500, and you got an airdrop worth like $300 as of right now. And it was and you could do that as many times as you want on as many wallets as you wanted if you spread it out, right? And they didn't have any type of like Sybil resistance or anything. They didn't like filter anyone out. Um, that's all you really had to do, and you only had to do it for like 2 days. You only had to hold it over there for 2 days, so it's like pretty insane cook, honestly, for how easy it was, and how low risk it was. I would say the only risk was like the price of Bitcoin, or I guess maybe exploit or something. Um, but yeah, just in general, with Merlin chain, I think there's more opportunities coming. Like the Merlin chain, their governance token themselves is called Merl, and that is going to come out in March. They just said March. I'm not sure when in March. I guess that kind of is pretty important now that we're like almost to March, if it's beginning or end. But it is sometime in March, they said. And right now, there's multiple ways to be able to farm that. One, you can stake Bitcoin, or like a bunch of different NFTs. Like I think that you can do like node monkeys and like bitmaps, maybe puppets too, some other stuff, the RSIC stuff, a lot of different ordinals you can stake. You can stake like BRC20s, like Ordi and stuff, and you earn like their endpoints is what they call it. And it's basically like points towards the airdrop, right? Um, and with that, that's pretty interesting too, is because they're actually, before the airdrop happens, it should be hopefully maybe this week, maybe or next week. It seems like very soon, but they're gonna unlock liquid staking tokens. So that's gonna be stake. There's basically like tokens that you can use within Merlinswap. You can't bridge them off, but you can like make them tradable. It's like one for one, basically redeemable in um in April when the halving is, or whenever the halving is. I think that's April, maybe May, of Bitcoin. That's when they're going to go. That's when they're going to unlock, and you can redeem those staking tokens or the underlying staked assets, right? So basically, what this means is a bunch of liquidity that is locked up right now. Actually, believe it or not, this was shocking to me, but there's over $2 billion. It's like the same amount as Blast right now, is on Berlin Chain right now in liquidity, and that's also about to be unlocked in the form of these liquid staking tokens. But it has to stay on Merlinswap, right? So I think that's going to be a huge boost to whatever is on Merlin bridge right now, or Merlin chain right now, which is like not very much. I think the biggest one right now is Voya, with his coin market cap at 32 million. And then there's also Hoo that we talked about before, and that's like 9 million or something like that right now. Um, but essentially, there's a ton of money that's about to be unlocked, and there's not much that people can use it on right now. Um, so personally, that makes me very bullish on the current assets on Merlin chain, and also in general of farming Merl, you'll be able to have somewhat of your farming stuff unlocked if you decide to stake. Um, and then additionally, you also can earn Merl by not staking, just bridging over and then doing transactions. Just swapping or make an LP or whatever. So you can farm wallets doing that too. So there's um, there's a lot of opportunities here. I think we've seen with ordinals right stuff popping off. This is by the same team that did bitmaps, which is a popular collection, as well as BRC 420s. I'm not super big in the ordinal streets, so I don't know how big those are. But it is a team that's created new tech for Bitcoin already. Merlinswap and is well known, so that makes me feel better about the L2 itself. But I think in general, like the narrative around Bitcoin, NFTs, and like infrastructure, and like actually doing shit on Bitcoin, like DeFi, is gonna be pretty huge this cycle because it wasn't existent last cycle, right? There was no, we weren't trading ordinals in the bull market of 2021, or doing anything on Bitcoin at all, right? And now there's infrastructure in place to where you can, and that's where all the money is. That's where the most money is on Bitcoin. So I think it just makes sense that there's going to be a ton of opportunities there. So this is kind of one of my ways that I want to get allocated to it, and like hopefully be on something that's early, a Bitcoin L2, and then its underlying assets, before like the bulk of people start coming over. So that's kind of one of my plays, and me looking out for more Bitcoin stuff. But I think in general, trying to allocate yourself towards some of your port stuff to start towards Bitcoin stuff. I know kind of a lot of us are ETH centric and also moved over to Sol, but I do think Bitcoin's gonna be a big part of this cycle as well. There's just too much money there, and there's finally starting to get some infrastructure in place to where you can actually do stuff with your Bitcoin. You can degen a little bit with it. So yeah, I think that's really interesting. And I know there's another one. I think this would be a good segue into unless anyone has anything on Merlin chain, but if not, we can kind of segue into another Bitcoin related topic.
I mean, I did want to take a second just to absorb all that information you just gave us. That's fucking crazy, man. TVL on par with Blast. And we know that
Yeah.
Blast has been at the forefront of everyone's mind, and the marketing has just been crazy. So yeah, I guess just shows, man, don't sleep on Bitcoin's buying power, man. Like just the numbers just get crazy. But it sounds like you're telling me we're gonna have DeFi summer, but on Bitcoin, maybe this year, man. It sounds pretty dope. It makes total sense too. I mean, we all went to Solana because of the gas. I mean, that's pretty much the only reason. The experience is not great, with the chain itself, at least in my experience. But the gas is phenomenal, though. It's so fun to get in and out of shitcoins and do DeFi stuff and not have to pay big gas fees. So taking that and applying it to Bitcoin, yeah, it seems like a no-brainer. Seems like a clear path to success here. I did also just want to give people just a quick TLDR of the Merlin chain stuff. Jake dropped a lot of info on us, so just sort of actionable info. At the moment, people are speculating on the Merl token, the Merlinswap token. There's two ways to get it. You can either bridge into like a staked vault, which, like Jake said, does not unlock until the halvening. So that's, he said no risk, other than holding Bitcoin or there being like a attack on the protocol. But maybe that time frame could be a risk to some people. But if you do that route, you can get M points, and you can actually see the points that you're earning on Merlinswap, which I would imagine is a good feeling. Or you can go the other route where you just bridge funds into Merlin chain. They're not staked, they're not locked until the halvening. And you can also just earn points by volume and swaps and stuff. But there's no tracking system to sort of see the points that you're getting. And it's not locked, but it is also kind of hard to get your money out. So I think the bridge at the moment is out of liquidity. So you are kind of taking a bet on Merlin chain and not being able to pull your funds out, at least immediately. So just wanted to kind of recap those two options there. Bridge in and lock until the halvening, earn points and see them, or bridge in loosely, just do some swaps and some volume and try to earn as a user. Is that a pretty good summary?
Yeah, I wasn't aware of the bridge not having liquidity out.
Yeah, if you go to, was it Mason Fi? It says, yeah, no liquidity for bridging out. It says it resets at 6 p.m. Singapore time. I was there ready. It did not reset.
Oh, yeah,
So,
okay, I see. Yeah, I remember now. Yeah, they said that they're gonna cap it at the beginning, and then they'll slowly raise the cap as the day goes on. So
oh, the old Top Shot playbook. We're coming full circle, Jake.
yeah.
Just closed ecosystem. Man, I remember getting the email that I was approved for withdrawal. It was like, let me out because everyone else is trapped in here. It was like, get out of jail free card. It was crazy. But anyway, yeah. So some bridge out liquidity questions there. But if you're long term bullish, if you're ready for DeFi summer on Bitcoin, then I don't think you'll have an issue waiting around a little bit longer. But cool, yeah. I just want to put a bow on that VOYA talk, man. Appreciate you bringing it up yesterday. It was not on my radar at all. I have not heard one single person mention VOYA, but thanks to your shout on Wake and Jake, I was able to not only get the airdrop, but like make a video to show other people how to do it too. So appreciate you bringing it up. Keep them coming, player. We love it.
Shout out Charlie, by the way. Charlie's the one who originally brought up the Merlin stuff. He's been cooking, so you want to bless anyone, bless Charlie.
Charlie, big shout out Charlie. Charlie was also calling some other shit coins on Merlinswap to great success. So yeah, shout out Charlie, absolutely cooking it up with the early alpha and the consistent sort of showing up and being informative and stuff like that. So very helpful. Appreciate you, Charlie. You're a goat. All right. Did you want to, Jake? Did you see you had another topic that you wanted to go into, or you want me to take a segue here?
Yeah, I think it's a good time to talk about this new inscription that old Ross has been talking up, the NatCats, as well as maybe wants to talk on some Bitcoin puppet stuff because those have been pumping too. Ross, you around?
Well, that depends.
Oh, depends on what.
At NATCATS. If Bitcoin's about to blow, there's a name you gotta know. NATCATS. All right. In my head, there's gonna be sick. I had the Dora the Explorer backpack theme playing in the background. I was like, "Fuck yeah!" I was pretty mid on my part. Riz, but oh boys, here to talk about NatCats. Thanks for having me.
Welcome up, brother. Yeah, we saw the field report. Ross dropped a video field report. Rare to see, but always appreciated. Love some video field reports. Basically, just showing us how to actually buy a NatCat. That is one of the hardest things to do with the NatCat, apparently. So, but also giving some sort of context and alpha along the way in that field report video. So appreciate you, Ross. Yeah. I guess for those that haven't seen it, or just those that wanted more information, can you kind of talk us through NatCats, why you're bullish, and just sort of what the experience was buying one?
Absolutely. So first and foremost, I would still recommend OR because, like with any project, I just feel I want to shill to the community. And the reason I posted the field reports isn't because I want anyone to buy the bags. I didn't mint any for the record. I just bought them off secondary as soon as I found them. But something that I had learned a few months ago, thanks to my friend Lizard Capital, is information asymmetry trades. He was a big proponent of them, where if you have more information than other people in the market, there's a lot of times that you can make money off of those trades. So I remember seeing Mr. Bull calling out in chat NatCats and just saying that he was seeing them on Twitter. Waff Dog minted a bunch of them, and I like didn't see them on Magic Eden, right? And that's like the one place I go to buy ordinals. So I kept asking people in chat all day, like, "Hey, like, where do I buy these NatCats? Where do I buy these NatCats?" No one was really responding, and I was just getting to the point where I was like, didn't want to harass people in the chat, but I genuinely wanted to know where to buy these NatCats and what was up with them. So I did a lot of digging on Twitter, went onto YouTube, and just found out a lot about them. So a few different things. I'm probably going to ramble on a little bit here about the TLDR on the NatCats, but you can definitely check out my field report for more because there's way smarter people who wrote about this topic in depth. Essentially, NatCats are the first project to launch on the DMT protocol on ordinals, and that's protocol on air quotes because I know you can't really have like protocols in a true sense on Bitcoin. Essentially, DMT is digital matter theory, where you use data from the Bitcoin blockchain to mint. And NAT from NATCATS stands for non-arbitrary token. And if you think about all of the things that we've minted in a traditional sense on ETH or any other chain, it's very arbitrary because the creator of that token decides the trait quantity, the rarity counts, which trait is going to have how many, right? So like the creators would have some hand in saying, okay, like 30 of these Azukis would have spirit traits, and that's going to be the rarest trait. And they would have some factor in weighing out those rarities. So that is all done arbitrarily. The NatCats, however, they did it non-arbitrarily, where they said, okay, all of the Bitcoin blocks have this data, and based on the data of these blocks and where these NatCats are minted, that is going to determine the traits and the trait rarity. So for instance, if there is an 8 in the block that your NatCat was minted in, it would have a bow. If it was 8-8, the bow would be on the left side. If it's 8-8-8, it would have 2 bows and a bow on its tail, et cetera, for all the different traits. So people are really excited about the NatCats because it is like the first collection on Bitcoin, maybe on any chain, that is really just deriving the traits and the generation of the traits directly from the data on the chain. So people are considering this like a native asset to a chain. And people are just getting really excited for it because there's going to be a ton of different applications for this NAT and DMT, both of those protocols. So I'm sure we'll see a lot of really cool generative art in the future that is just like all derived from Bitcoin itself and not just creators deciding what to do. It's like all fully dictated by the chain. So that's a really cool part of it. And it just has those early ETH vibes to it. So if you check out the video that I posted in the field reports, right now, only place you can really buy them is through spreadsheets on a few different discords. There is one marketplace that's slowly getting them indexed, but honestly, it's like the worst marketplace I've ever used. So I still see a bunch of people are using the Discord and just using the process in the field report. But there's something honestly kind of fun about the spreadsheet shopping. It definitely gives early vibes. So I still do think there's some information asymmetry there. Once again, I'm like hesitant to shill anything because they are reaching a pretty high range. When I first posted about them, they were about 0.027. They're now circling up to 0.05. They're probably like 0.047. It's hard to get a true sense of the floor because again, it's all over the counter stuff. So there's not any like, here's everything listed in one spot. But yeah, I'm super bullish on the NatCats. I think just watching Jake trade a bunch, he always, preaches that new protocols, new technology is something that makes him bullish. And I've definitely seen that. I think most recently we saw D's nuts just absolutely exploding because it was a new way to a new token on Solana and a new protocol. So I just kind of followed that format when I saw NatCats did some digging, and now I'm super bullish on them because it's a new way to, create art in the space, which is always huge. And it's also on ordinals, which is red hot. So the two of those combined, I don't think you can lose. And then you have the information asymmetry that most people still have no idea how to buy them, right? It's not on Magic Eden. I imagine there's still a bunch of people who are waiting for it to go on Magic Eden because they don't want to put in any of the work. But it's really not that complicated. It's like 5 minutes of research to go ahead and buy one. So definitely recommend checking out the field reports. Definitely dig into the NatCats. And yeah, I think they're an awesome collection. I'm rocking one right now as my PFP. And there's a ton of people on Twitter who are doing the same. So it definitely seems like it's checking all the right boxes. And I'm definitely excited for us to check back in next week and see how they're doing.
Wow, love it, man. Yeah, well said. Great shouts on the information asymmetry. Good thing to look for when doing trades and stuff. I'm curious about the actual. I think you summarized your bull case very well, and it's very smart, very sharp take. I'm curious though how much weight you put into the sort of new protocol narrative. Like, do you think DMT is going to do something, or here's my issue. It's like not an issue. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I remember there was this exact thing basically, but on Ethereum back in like 2021 or 2022, where it just takes like the hash of the transaction, any transaction. You could put, when stake got drained for 20 million, like you could put that transaction in and you could generate generative art based on the hash. That sounds really similar to that. But that, I mean, of course everyone forgot about that and went to zero because no one gives a shit. Do you think that this is different because of DMT, or do you think this is different because of ordinals? Because obviously it's fucking cooking, it's going off, people are obviously very into it. Which narrative do you think people are latching on to? Do you think it's like first of a new protocol type deal, like this is the punk of DMT, or do you think it's like the concept of the generative art that's pushing this?
I don't think it's specifically the generative art. This is something that Corruption and I were like loosely talking about in chat today. I think it all just has to do with adoption, and that's the thing with any part of the space. And what's interesting about ordinals, and I sort of alluded to this earlier when I said there's not truly protocols, is that you can't really build in Bitcoin. You can only build on top of it. So I tried to do a little bit more digging into ordinals over the past couple of weeks since I've been super bullish. Got in through puppets, and just since then have been trying to get into as many flips and cooks as possible. So I don't fully understand it because again, I'm not really a coder, don't have the most technical background, but I definitely try to understand as much as I can. And it seems like you basically build these types of lenses, in air quote, for Bitcoin in order for ordinals to function. And it's essentially if people choose to use them, they can, but they're not natively there, right? So like if you traded Bitcoin and you traded Satoshis, you wouldn't really know about any of the images or any of the inscriptions that are on them unless you choose to go through and use these types of lenses that are there. And feel free if anyone in the audience knows more about this or understands more technically how Bitcoins and ordinals functions, feel free. But there are different ways to basically store data on Bitcoin, and there's a few different projects that have sort of led the way in that regard. So I know Bitmaps is one of them, where it's a different approach to how the data in Bitcoin blocks are being demonstrated, or I guess how do I say this? Generated, whatever. Just there's bitmaps, there's ordinals in the traditional sense, and now NatCats is one of the third or fourth ways to show data on the blockchain. So with these, it's really a consensus acceptance. Like, are people going to use it or not? So you're saying on ETH, there's another project that did this. My guess is just a protocol that people didn't really follow up on. I think we saw that pretty recently with ETH with the 404. There was definitely a lot of hype for it with Pandora at first. And I'm not sure what that's currently doing, but I do remember a few weeks later, there was just a bunch of projects coming out and most of them were rugs. So it just kind of fell off. So with any protocol, NatCats included, if people decide to use this lens on Bitcoin, if they decide, hey, we're going to start using this for more and more collections, then NatCats will absolutely be huge because it is the first in the space to do that. But it's not, again, hard forking Bitcoin. It's not something that is going to be permanently built into the blockchain ecosystem. It's just built on top of it. So if people use it or not, that's going to be the biggest determining factor. But for those types of things, that's where I go onto Twitter to see the influence. And if I see the notable names in the space buying NatCats, posting about them, is there actually this organic community forming around them? That's where I can really just start to say, okay, this is the real thing. You have the technology, but more importantly, have people using it.
Love it, dude. Yeah, well said. Appreciate you providing the alpha that you went out and sought out. Like you didn't see it happening, so you took it upon yourself to go to the research and you brought it back to us. We really appreciate that. I mean, that's what it's all about. Just bringing value back to the fam. So you guys be sure to queue up those blesses if you get some value from any of these field reports. Appreciate you, Ross. And then quick shout out to WAF as well. WAF Dog apparently was one of the first or the first to post NatCats. So shout out to him, I guess, for maybe getting the ball rolling. And then shout out to Ross for doing the research and bringing it back so that we can all eat. Also, WAF has a ordinal ninja with a top hat, so I can't not shout that out. Love to see that. I'm gonna do a quick. Ross, are you all good there, or any final thoughts on NatCats, or did anybody have any questions or anything, or can we go ahead and move on?
I see some in voice hangout chat from Bitcoin Alchemist. He's saying, what are links to buy NatCats? If you check out the video field report that I did, you should join the track Discord. I can just post a link in the field reports for you guys here. Basically, you can just go into the trading channel that they have and follow it. It's all done through Google Spreadsheets right now, so it's going to be unindexed on Magic Eden. You're just going to see a string of text, and if you follow along with the video field report guide, I go over how you can confirm and verify that you're actually looking at a valid NatCat. Just be careful of that. There are scams that are going on in the space. You really just have to be tedious going through and verifying those because, again, like it's all over the counter. So there you go. Feel free to join that and happy trading, but definitely be careful with that. Nothing else on NatCats. Definitely happen to talk a little bit about puppets if you want to, but otherwise, that's pretty much it for me.
All right, we'll see if we have time to circle back here. Yeah, Jake just relinked the field report. I just want to clarify here. There's a couple questions, similar questions, asking how to buy the NatCats. So for Ross's field report, it's a video on how to buy the NatCats. So the information asymmetry he's talking about, well, part of it at least, is how the friction of how to buy one. You have to go through Google Sheets and do a bunch of stuff and join a Discord. So that was why he put the field report together. It's just because there's so much friction getting in. So it's not going to be as simple as just dropping a link to go mint. You're going to have to watch that video, and Ross will have you covered there. But yeah, shout out to Ross for doing that too. That's pretty sweet. I want to go ahead and run through some of the other field reports from the week. We had a lot. We had 11 field reports this week. It's easy to miss some or just have them get drowned out in the noise. But I want to go ahead and highlight those just real quick, just so people can get their props. And if you guys have any blesses that need to be given out, you go ahead and chamber those up and find one of these field reports that helps you out. So I'm going to run through them chronologically. We had 2 different field reports on Blast projects. One was from JD. It's a full list of notable Blast projects that are on testnet, sort of a master list, so you can go through and suss yourself. Next is from Jake and Bake. He actually talked about it earlier, but he broke down his top 7 big bang competitors. Side note, 47 winners. What the fuck? I was not expecting that. But yeah, he breaks down his top 7 and why he likes them. Really cool. We also have one from AI on the Backpack Exchange. This is what he thinks is an underfarmed exchange with an airdrop coming soon. This is the Mad Lads team, so it should be a cook there. We also have Athena Labs Shard campaign. This is from Raga. This is a write-up on a new algorithmic stablecoin. Those are always fun. What could go wrong? I think that one may have been passed, but definitely go check it out if you're interested. Everything Web3 links from Metarova. This is a comprehensive set of links for everything in Web3. Best I've seen in a while. It's everything from wallet trackers to airdrop calendars. So really good place for you to maybe just go update your bookmark bar or something. Really good tools and utility there. From Botwin, man, this one takes the cake as far as names. Farming Blast Disperse with Cum. This is it's a funny and clever write-up on farming the Disperse app on Blast. Botwin also he also went the extra mile and airdropped Cum to all MVHQ members' wallets. So that's a thing. He gave us an ERC20 called Cum so that we can use the Disperse app on Blast in order to farm. What a Chad. Okay, next we have, I don't know how to say this, Gaiman token launch and free farming from Brad Lana Mobile. This is a upcoming token that plans to use your GPU power to play games, or uses your GPU to power games on the cloud. Jesus, that was a tongue twister. So if you have any decent GPU, you can farm tokens for this. Next, we have Pike Finance by Naruto. This was an easy Discord roll, like an early roll that you could get for staking some assets. I think this one has passed, but shout out to Naruto for getting that up and getting a lot of people in on that roll. Next, we have, I don't know how to pronounce this one either, Eufin, possibly time sensitive by Aslo. This was a token call at a $3 million market cap. Still around there right now, so not too late to get in if you wanted to take a look at that. They've done dev work for Pudgy Penguins, and there's some potential revenue share options as well. We have another one by Aslo, why airdrop staking / lending is a very negative EV decision, the case against. This picks apart the different variables that go into lending and staking your hard-earned money and how it affects our trading and our mental state and all of that stuff. Hot take field report from Aslo. And then we had NatCats from Ross Boss, which we just talked about. Appreciate you coming up here, Ross, giving some more color on that. But appreciate everybody that has contributed this week. It is a stacked week for field reports. So a lot of alpha. Our brains all just expanded, double the size from all this information. But yeah, if you, like I said earlier at the top, if you guys have blesses, you have one each day. Go ahead and pick one of these people out, man. They're bringing the alpha back, doing the research, and providing it to you guys. That's what it's all about. That's what makes us tick, and you love to see it. So thank you guys for letting me do that quick well, not so quick shout outs, freaking 11 of them. But yeah, appreciate you guys listening in and checking out those field reports. And yeah, hopefully more to come this week. It's going to be a big week, a lot of tokens. That is all. That's all I've got. Jake, I know we're coming up here top of the hour. Is there anything else that we haven't got to cover yet, or any other talking points that you wanted to get into before we wrap things up?
Yeah, I still got a lot of Blast stuff to talk about.
Beautiful.
Some different projects here. Just something to put on your guys' radar. First off, there's a really good video that I watched this morning. Actually, I'm gonna link it in Voice Hangout chat. Kind of looking at some of the big bang competitions winners, and I'd definitely recommend that. I think it's like 20 minutes long. But she does a really good job going through some of the winners and like kind of shouting out some of the interesting ones in the big bang competition. But yeah, so I'm just trying to figure out where to start here. I'm just gonna go down a list. Sorry if I talk a lot here, but I just want to put some of this stuff on your guys' radar. Some of it might not matter to you. Some of it might. It might be very person specific, but we'll see. Um, I think a lot of it is just like there's a lot of opportunities here, and there's a lot of different things that you can kind of do with your funds on Blast. So I think just knowing what they are first off is the start, and then from there you can kind of game plan a little bit. Um, so let's start with some like kind of DeFi oriented projects. Juice Finance is one. We actually have a mission with Juice. Shout out. A detail. Oh, nice. Actually, I just added some details to my field report as well. Oh, he did a Blast project field report. No. Oh, that was yesterday. Anyway, yeah, check that one out. A Juice Finance. Basically, it's like you kind of like lend on margin, if you will. So you can lend your WETH, for instance, and you can get up to 300% of that capital back in USDB, which is the native stable coin on Blast. I think it's USDB. I'm not sure exactly what the letters are. But basically that's a way to well, one, you can kind of farm the airdrop with it, but also it's a way to, I guess, exponentially or like multiply the amount of capital that you can use in the ecosystem. Obviously, disclaimer: this is adds more risk onto you for sure. Like you could lose your initial position doing something like this. I'm not also 100% sure how it works exactly. I'd have to actually use the platform first. But it seems like a very interesting idea. They're a legitimate company. They raised 7 million, and they've been building this platform for about 14 months now. So it's not like some degen gamble kind of thing. It is a legitimate company. It's been working on this for quite a while now. So that one's super interesting. Juice. Again, we have a field or mission with them. I think it's for like 1,000 points or something along that nature. Yeah, raffle for 1,000 points. Anyway, juice, interesting. Let's move on. Another one is Thruster. Big, pretty big one. You guys probably have heard of them. If you are looking into Blast stuff at all, they're probably like the most common name that I've seen so far. They're a DEX platform. There's also gonna be like a launch pad as well for tokens. So I anticipate it being, unless Uniswap and stuff is enabled day one, which I'm not sure, but I anticipate it being one of the bigger dexes on Blast right away. They already have some pretty big partners. I think I saw that they partner with at least 16 of the other Blast Big Bang competition winners themselves. So they're partnered with a lot of the big projects. They got notable investors that are, kind of like crypto Twitter people, Loomdart, the Popcorn Kirby, former partner at Paradigm, the CBB OFE guy who is like a big Blur farmer. And on that site, you can you get like tickets or whatever. This instead of points, they do like tickets for swaps and LPs and all that. And you can enter these tickets into, I guess they have like a weekly drawing kind of thing and win prizes. I'm not sure what the prizes are. It just says big prizes. So that's another way to farm. And also it'll probably just be like one that you'll be using regularly as a DEX, I would anticipate, as being one of the biggest ones. Moving on, there's a couple of perp trading options if you do want to leverage trade or farm in that nature. Bloom is one of them. It's supposed to be one-click gasless trades, so I believe you have to deposit into them. Is how they do that. So it's probably faster execution if that's something you're looking for. The UI looks pretty nice. They have good branding too. They got like a little mushroom that's like their logo. They have a little mushroom guy. It seems like well done, I should say. And they have it seems like they're decently capitalized. They have like they have funding from outside investors like Pantera Capital and some others. And 100% of their dev airdrop is going to go to traders and LPers on their platform as well. And they're going to have their own point system additionally. So a lot of opportunities there. A lot of these projects are giving away a lot of their dev airdrop, and they're also have their own point system. So there's gonna be a lot of Ponzi-nomics going on. A lot of extra yield that you can farm here um, on these L2. Sorry, I'm looking at what Theric just linked me. Juice is excited not to be allocating juice points to the Blast mainnet launch to Wassies and Pudgy Penguin holders. Nice. Yeah, Wassies and Penguins. That's actually a good segue into Wassies. I think those have been. It seems like they're catching on to be a bigger NFT they might be getting more and more allocations. The the founder is Loomdart, who is a very popular crypto Twitter person. If you haven't heard of him, he's been around for like forever. Like he's been a popular crypto Twitter influencer since like before, I don't know, like probably before like 2017. So for a long time. So super connected, well-known trader. Um, he basically created the Wasi brand and their NFTs, and he's also launching a token on Blast called Pump. You might have heard of that one, Pump. It's short for like Pump It Loomdart, which is like a saying that has been around for a while with Loomdart. But anyway, Wasi's got an allocation to that. There was already a snapshot. I think it was January 1st, and then there's a second one that I think might have already happened, but I haven't 100% confirmed. I just looked into it real quick this morning. It was supposed to be tentatively February 19th, but I don't know if that's happened yet. Where the Wassies get an allocation of this Pump coin. But Loomdart is also working hard, as you can see for this juice allocation here. He's working hard to get allocations for Wassies. This NFT collection that's on ETH right now, Wassies. It's actually called Loomlock NFT. Here, I'll link it in the voice hangout chat. But that one's interesting to look into. He's working hard to get a lot of other allocations for them, and he has a lot of deep connections. So I think he probably will be able to get more. So if that's something you want to speculate on in hopes of getting allocations, I don't think it's terrible. I was looking at him this morning. I wish I would have pulled the trigger. I haven't bought any yet, but I might soon here. So again, that's something to look forward to. Pump. That coin itself, I think, is going to probably be a pretty big shitcoin on Blast as well. I'm unsure about what kind of utility, if anything, that there will be. But it's a decent meme. Pump kind of fits well with the whole like Ponzi-nomics times 100 theme that Blast seems to be. So I think Pump makes a lot of sense for the coin name and for the ecosystem. And they got a lot of big partners as well already lined up. A lot of these other like DeFi protocols that they'll be working with. So that's certainly one to watch out for, Pump. Sorry, a couple other things. I know there's a lot, but I'm trying to give a little bit of alpha here. Hopefully. Another one, MetaStreet. You can lend ETH. You can do it right now, actually, on Ethereum mainnet. You can lend ETH for NFTs for yield. You can basically like pick a collection, and there's like a certain amount of yield associated with that collection, and I'm sure it's variable. To get, and then you receive back LCTs is what they're called, liquid something token, I'm not sure. And you can bridge those LCTs over to Blast once mainnet is live. And there's a lot of platforms that they're already working with because they're very well capitalized, and they have a lot of connections that they're already working with to use these LCTs for different opportunities. So it's like another way of leveraging your money, making more of your money, basically, where one, you're getting the yield from the WETH that you're lending, right? But you're also getting this LCT that you can then go and use for some other stuff, right? But obviously the more this is leverage in a way, and there's risk involved with all this, right? So something to understand the risk before you go and do it. But I do want to at least make you guys aware of these opportunities. MetaStreet also is giving away 100% of their Blast rewards to users. They are backed by some pretty well-known people in the space. I think Dingling is an investor. Andrew Kang, Free Lunch Capital, G Money, Sisyphus, Machi Big Brother. which might be a red flag. I don't know. They also Dragonfly Capital, Animoca, OpenSea, Miranda Ventures, Delphi Digital, all are investors in MetaStreet. So some pretty big names, pretty big connections with MetaStreet. That's one to look into. Um, there's a lot. There's a lot. Sorry, couple others. One that I think is interesting is YOLO Games. It's kind of like degen games like on LooksRare because it's by the LooksRare team. Like the YOLO on LooksRare, I'm pretty sure is where they got their name. If you played that, but they're provably fair on-chain games, um, and 100% of the fees generated from these games are going back to players. So there's no rake really on the games. It's going to be pretty random, it seems. And they're also giving back 100% of their developer allocation to players, and players will also be able to earn YOLO token, which is their token. So there's kind of like it's almost like where normally like gambling at casinos, there's always a rake, like there's always something that the house is taking. But in this case, it seems like there's again, I'm not 100% positive about this, but it's what they say that there's no house taking anything, and you're also getting bonus stuff on top of the game in terms of one their blast airdrop and their YOLO token. I'm assuming they're gonna make money based on the YOLO token, right? Where that's how they're gonna make all their money. I'm assuming so, or they can turn on the fee switch later. But for now, it seems like they're doing this to acquire users, and they're running at where it's gonna be pretty plus EV. It seems like to play these games, so something to look into and confirm for yourself. Also, it seems like they are going to give an airdrop to people who bridged over to Blast as well. This YOLO token, they said in a tweet. Last but not least, if you bridge funds to Blast, we've got a surprise waiting for you. So that's something to look out for. That might be a free claim. Oof. All right, a couple more. Bear with me. Another one is Cambria, which is a favorite of mine. It's like a RuneScape type game. It's only like in mini game stage right now, but they're building out a whole RuneScape environment. But right now there's like a degen arena where you have a little player and you battle other people, you duel other people in this arena. Um, real people, and you wager, X amount of ETH or whatever. And you earn points towards their airdrop based on how much ETH that you wager. They were on base, and now they're transitioning over to Blast. So they're also going to give away 100% of their Blast airdrop to users. And I'm personally bullish on this game just because I think it's fun and I enjoy it. And it's a cool little atmosphere as well. So that's another one to look forward to. I think I had one more here. Sorry. Blastopians is an NFT project to look out for. It's a 5K PFP NFT. They're made by some big blur farming group, alpha group. And I think they've gotten a good amount of hype so far. I haven't done a ton of research into them. It's one I've been meaning to get to, but that's another one to get put on your radar as well. I have some others too, but I'm going to stop right there in case anyone has thoughts on any of this.
Is it possible to drop links for the first two you talked about, or have you dropped links for everything? See, you're kind of going as you go. Maybe one message with all the links would be pretty clutch.
Yeah, I'll do a message with all of them.
Sick, you're the man. Yeah, and I don't think anyone is complaining about you pulling more and more projects out to highlight at all.
Here's one more that I think is interesting. It's called Particle. It's basically you can leverage trade any ERC20 token, which is pretty crazy to me. I'm sure there's like not going to be a ton of liquidity to do this, but how it works is you like borrow from the liquidity pool in order to leverage trade, and then the liquidity pool itself, I would imagine, gets higher fee rate than they normally would because of this, because they're getting lending fees, right? Or funding fees for these leverage trades. So that would incentivize people to donate to these pools to get higher fees. So this one's pretty interesting, and they have a lot of partners. I would normally be skeptical, but it seems like they have a good amount of partners, and they were one of the Blast competition winners as well. So if you want to degen like crazy on like and like do leverage on a shitcoin, which don't recommend, but I know people will do it anyway, so I want to at least call it out as an opportunity if you want to do it. Again, don't recommend, but I think it's pretty interesting that you can leverage trade any ERC20 um, with this one. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, man, I don't know. I probably have one or two others, but there's also gonna be NFT perps platforms on there. NFT perp and Wasabi will both be on Blast mainnet as well, and they're giving away their airdrops as well. So if you want to leverage trade NFTs, you can basically trade anything with leverage on Blast. It's going to be a degen casino paradise, however you want to split it. There'll be opportunities to do so, and while also earning yield and stuff. Just be careful. Obviously, you can get wrecked doing these things. Please understand what you're doing before you do it. Please understand the fee structure and how it works, or just YOLOing a bunch of money into something. I'm not recommending any of these. I'm just making you aware of the opportunities in case you want to do more research and get involved with them.
Wow. Yeah. That's a lot, man. We appreciate it though. Definitely have to go back and listen to this recording. Crypto Agua said it great. How many Adderalls do I need this week to catch up with all these Blast projects? I just said yes. Yeah, that is the
Yes.
correct amount. It's gonna be a fun week. Man, I just saw a tweet. I just want to shout this out just because the figures are kind of crazy. But it's about Portal. If Portal is at $3 after it's live, anyone who put in 20K in the angel round, their coins will be worth $1 million. And anybody who put in 50K during the pre-sale, their tokens will be worth $1 million. Pretty crazy. Hope we had one or two of those in here. That would be great to see.
Insane codes.
Did you see the Yuga tweet?
Yeah, I'll shout it out real quick. So it looks like Yuga is sunsetting their trading on all marketplaces other than essentially the people who only support full royalties. So I guess just Magic Eden. Yeah, that's definitely a move. To see how the market responds, but I can't imagine most people will care. But we'll see.
Fast, let them pay royalties, bro.
What was that, Jinzo?
I was saying if they want to keep going to Ape Fest and doing crazy things, let them pay a bit of royalties.
There you go.
Yeah, the hundreds of millions of dollars they extracted from us and investors wasn't enough.
Well, a lot of that is locked in ApeCoin too, so it's not like they have like even for the other side sale, it was all ApeCoin, so it's not really like they have that money. It's vested, it's locked, so it's not exactly they have a big. That's why they bought Moonbird too, is for the money. So I don't know. You always need more money. The bigger your company is, the more money you need.
Yeah, interesting. So you won't be able to trade on OpenSea or Blur. I don't know. I feel like this doesn't help them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the question you have to ask is, does this even make them more money? I mean, it's like raising taxes on people in an area, and you have capital flight where people just bounce because they don't want to pay the taxes. So it's like maybe people just transact less with Yuga assets because of the royalties. So could be shooting themselves in the foot trying to get more money, and it just doesn't have that effect.
I mean, if you
But
look at the
also,
list of projects they posted that will be sunsetting, it's not like it's a list of people, it's a list of projects people are chomping at the bit to buy anyway.
How am I going to get my auras?
yeah, I'm sure they're gonna have some kind of incentive with this marketplace, the Magic Eden one. I guess if I would hope if they're smart enough and they're gonna launch a token, right? So I'm sure they're gonna have some type of trade incentive for people to use the marketplace, at least initially, to help with this and get people used to it. I think it would be I wouldn't be surprised at all if we saw a good amount of other projects do this exact same thing and follow Yuga and blocking off like Blur and OpenSea and other royalty optional marketplaces, just because I saw in um well, one, because like Yuga kind of sets the standard a lot in the space for certain things. Not as much pull as they used to have, but still. And also, Magic Eden did tweet about how they were partnering with like, uh, they like tweeted a whole list of like pretty popular projects that they were partnering with. So this could just be like the first one, Yuga, and then we might see the dominoes fall here in the next day, where a lot of projects are going to transition over Magic Eden, and they'll probably have some type of like incentive rewards for people to go trade on Magic Eden at the same time, so they can capture as much market share as possible. That's my guess.
I think some projects are choosing to be a part of the Magic Eden partnership, but are not pulling their collections from other marketplaces. Like I think Pudgy Penguins pretty much immediately came out after that initial announcement and said, like, this just means we're a part of this. We're not going to take it away from other marketplaces. But maybe I misunderstood, or maybe they'll change their position down the line.
So from what I see, it looks like there's going to be loyalty rewards per project, at least according to the Yuga tweet. I would imagine Magic Eden themselves will be given diamonds or whatever their thing is, the gems, to people who use the new marketplace. But beyond that, I mean, unless they're going to just straight up give people money, I don't see why anyone would use Magic Eden over the other marketplaces.
Yeah, well, I guess it'd only be for if if you're trading collections that weren't available on other marketplaces.
One
Yeah,
thing I
interesting.
see is there's going to be a lot of scams happening again for people that want to avoid this and trade instead and just get fucked over. I mean, we know the apes tend to have a very, clear track record with this kind of thing.
Sounds like somebody's gonna sweep my G tags.
Oh.
It's not true. Nobody's gonna do that. Guess that is a good final shout for the week. I don't think we even talked about the Magic Eden Ethereum marketplace going live on Wednesday. And I think they hinted what the early ETH adopters are getting diamonds or points or whatever. So maybe they'll take care of us. Maybe they'll do what OpenSea never will. I think they said it's going back even further. It's like all-time activity, like 2017. So pretty
Yeah.
interesting for the OGs in the house. Hopefully they take care of us.
It's tomorrow, by the way, not Wednesday.
Oh shit! Get my wires crossed. Okay, tomorrow. Nice.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm sure it'll be the talk of the town for maybe a couple days, but I don't know. I feel like Blast is gonna overlook them once that launches.
We'll be
Anyway,
ready for that
more
too.
competition's good. More competition is good for us, the users, right? So
Yes, sir. About to dive into these blast projects that you mentioned here shortly. Appreciate all of those. It's gonna take up a whole day.
yep. Yeah, I'm all set here. Anything else that we didn't touch on or that you guys had thoughts on before we, I guess, wrap up the show here? Anyone from audience or?
Yeah, I would love to hear from anybody from the crowd if they've got anything. I guess one more thing I had in my notes was the MON presale. The MON protocol has Pixelmon as a launch partner. It's sold out in like an hour. It's like 200% sold out. I think you can still get in if you had like the guaranteed or the wait list. If you were in part of the snapshot, you can still try. And I think the allocations will be raffled at the end if you weren't guaranteed. But yeah, seems pretty hyped, I guess, if it's sold out in an hour at 200%. So probably yet another cook that I slept on. But yeah, MON token pre-sale that's going on. Anybody else got anything? What's going on? I think we're all just ready for blast this week.
Yeah, it seems like we can wrap it up. Maybe we'll chat afterwards. I'll be around still today if anyone wants to get in depth on anything.
Beautiful. All right. Well, there we go. Another Wake and Jake episode in the books. We appreciate everybody being here. We will see you again, same time next week. That's noon Eastern. every Monday, and hopefully we'll all be a lot richer and swimming in blast tokens by that time. We'll have to see. Appreciate you guys, and yeah, see you around. We'll hang out here and chat for a little bit longer, but yeah, I'll go ahead and stop the show now. Thanks again.